Hi everyone, so today I'm back with a new video and I'm going to be doing a full face using Throwback makeup. Now a lot of these products were really popular back in like 2016, 27 days of YouTube. If you remember, those were the days where YouTube, like I was so obsessed with makeup tutorials and everything of that nature. Like I know so many people were posting videos back in the day and everything was like very elaborate and very dramatic when it comes to your makeup and all of that. And a lot of these products, I put together a lot of the products that I used to use on an everyday basis, and a lot of them that were popular back in the day, I was unable to afford, but I actually picked some up last week online and my order came in the mail yesterday. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to include them in today's video. I just felt like it would be fun to go back through memory lane because I know my makeup style and taste has changed as much as I have evolved. And yeah, a lot of these products, like I totally forgot about, honestly. Like I have been using so much makeup throughout the years, like I forgot about a majority of these. But if you guys are interested in seeing what some of my old favorite makeup was back in the day, please continue to keep on watching. Make sure to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please make sure to like this video. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with my makeup sponge. Who do you guys remember how popular the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge was back in the day? This was the only sponge that I ever used to apply my makeup. And I had to go and order another one. A new one up off of Amazon last week, and it still feels pretty much like the same. Like I just remember this sponge used to be so popular, and I remember it's the only one I used to use. So this is what I'm going to be using today to blend in my foundation. And when it comes to foundation, now if you guys remember, who remembers the Dermacol makeup cover? This was so popular online. Is like if you remember, this is like back in the day when everybody was trying to cover up their tattoos with it. And I remember that is what suckered me in about picking this one up. So I know that I have a real one. This is the real one right here. And I also have a fake one up. I picked this one up off of eBay back in the day. As you can tell, the shade is, the packaging is way off. Like this one is the fake one. This is the real one. So I have two different shades of this one. But for today's video, obviously I will be using the real one. So the only thing I did not like about this foundation, though, I remember, is that it, like, you'll see when I open this up. But you can see, like, it gets everywhere. Like, it just comes out of the packaging, like, really bad. But I just remember I used to layer this shit all over my skin. And back in the day, like, I would not even go to Walgreens without applying makeup. And look at how thick this is. Like, oh, my God. Like, and, you know, funny enough, like, you know, I still do, like, full coverage. But I feel like now as I'm getting older, like, I'm 32 at the moment. And I feel like as I'm aging, my taste when it comes to makeup, like even though I still like full coverage, I don't wear it as much as I used to. Like I feel like my skin is I try to let my skin breathe a lot nowadays is what I'm trying to say. Because I feel like, you know, when it comes to this foundation, like this is very full coverage and you can definitely feel it on your skin. And you know what? From what I'm noticing so far, this sponge from Real Techniques, this does not feel like the original. Because I know that this one feels a lot rougher on my skin, and I don't remember the original one. I remember the original one was a lot more bouncy, and if you guys can tell, this shade is way off. Like, this is way too light for my complexion, but I just remember layering this on. Like, the very first time I went to a nightclub, this was the foundation that I used back in, like, I believe it was, like, early 2017, and I remember everybody was talking about this foundation, and, I mean, it does provide really nice coverage, but if you are oily, it definitely makes your skin look greasy. If you can tell, it has that very greasy texture to it, but I'm not liking how the sponge is feeling on my skin. Like, it just feels very, very rough, and I look like a ghost right now. Like, I'm going to have to really drag this down my neck. Okay, and the next for concealer, who remembers the LA Girl Pro Conceal? This concealer was so hyped up back in the day, and I have the shade, I believe this is the shade Fair, but I remember this concealer was so hyped up, especially because I remember concealers used to be really popular when it had this little brush tip applicator, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I remember this concealer did do a nice job of concealing. But, you know, another thing I forgot to mention, though, is that I have not used a majority of these products ever since, like, 2017, 2018. And I know this makeup is expired, but you know what? I'm like, whatever. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time that I'm using expired makeup on my YouTube channel. So we will do for today. But that foundation, like, I can't believe that I used to go out of the house wearing this type of foundation, like, every single day. Like, it just, you can feel it on my skin. Like, it does provide really nice coverage, but it's just so thick, and I don't know, it's just not something that nowadays that I would gravitate towards using, because you can just, like I said, you can just feel it, and it is bringing out a lot of texture underneath my skin. But it's okay, because And I honestly can't wait to wash it off because it does feel kind of disgusting. Even though it still does provide really nice coverage. But I remember this concealer was so hyped up. Like everybody and their grandma was pretty much talking about this concealer back in the day. And it is a nice concealer. I think the thing about it is that I forgot about it because like once the e.l.f. Camo Concealer came around, like that is pretty much the only one that I was using. But this definitely does provide nice coverage, and I can see why everybody loved it, especially because considering that LA Girl, they are so affordable, and you can still find this at Ulta and Amazon. But yeah, I can definitely see why everybody loved this concealer. Okay, then next when it comes to setting powder, who remembers the Coty Airspun Translucent Extra Coverage Powder? This powder was everywhere. I remember every single person was talking about this powder, and I love it. Especially the scent is so nostalgic to me because it smells like a grandmother. Like, it smells like that very powdery, clean scent. And I know they have unscented versions that they have released nowadays. I know that this one can be very overwhelming for many out there. But I'm going to be using that powder to set over my face. And then also, who remembers the e.l.f. HD powder? Now, this one, it's new packaging because the original one was a lot more bulkier. So I ordered this one up off of Amazon. It's funny because before, if you guys remember, but this used to come in a pretty big square box, like a square packaging. And it's funny because I just decluttered that powder like not too long ago. And then I'm like, damn, I wish I would have kept it for when I was coming to record this video. But I had to order it up at Amazon. But who remembers these HD super white under eyes were such a thing back in the day when it comes to your makeup. And I used to walk out of the house with very, very bright under eyes. And just don't even ask me. I didn't even know what I was doing with my makeup back in the day. But I just remember using both of these powders. So first I'm going to dip into the Coty Airspun. And I have not used this powder in quite a few years, actually. So I'm just going to set my skin with this one. And, you know, I used to layer and layer and layer this one on. So you know what? That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to actually apply this one under my eyes as well. But this powder always did an amazing job at setting my makeup. And, you know, considering that I have really dry skin, I never noticed an issue with it, like bringing out texture or anything like that. It just leaves a very nice finish behind on the skin. And I can see why it is so popular because it is definitely worth the hype. And, you know, the thing I love about it is that you get so much in here for such an affordable price. Like, I remember back in the day, this was like, what, $5.99? I'm sure on Amazon, they probably raised the prices to it now, but it's still a very affordable powder. And when it comes to this foundation, I definitely used to use it all the time to set this foundation because this foundation is very dewy and a foundation that if you don't set it, I feel like it could turn into like a hot mess really, really fast. So that's why I always made sure to like layer it on top of this one because, like I said, especially like in the heat and humidity, this product will definitely be moving around on your skin. So then after I'm done setting it with this powder, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. HD powder right here. And I'm just going to dump some out into the cap. And this powder, I remember it did leave flashback in photography because myself, I remember I used to, when I used to go out, I used to go clubbing back in the day, like a lot. I used to go to nightclubs like pretty much like 2-3 times a week back in like 2017, 2018 days. And I remember the one time I wore this powder out and when I had flash photography, when I look back at the photos, like my eyes were straight white. So this powder definitely does leave flashback if you use a lot of it. But I'm just going to also just layer it over top of the other one because, like I said, back in the day, I used to cake on my makeup. So, okay, and then next for contour, who remembers the Wet n Wild contour palettes? Now, these palettes were everywhere. As you can tell by looking at mine, they are well loved. Like, look, I hit pan on pretty much all of these. I picked up all 3 of the shades when they came out, and these were the only contour product that I used back in. As you can tell, look, I have tape on this one. This is how you know I haven't used this in a really long time because the packaging is broken on it. But these contour palettes right here, as you watch this, guys, watch. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I'm pretty sure it's broken off. Yes, look at the lid is completely broken off of it. So you know what? I remember these used to be really great quality. Like I really did love them. So for today's video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the quad that's in the shade Dulce de Leche. I can never say that. I'm going to start by dipping into this one and to start by contouring my skin. And I remember this was the only contouring powder that I had back in the day, especially the only one that I couldn't afford because I couldn't afford pretty much anything when all these products came out because I wasn't working for quite a while. And, you know, it was a very sad situation I was in. Let's just put it that way. But now that thankfully that is what growth is all about. And now that I'm able to actually afford makeup, you know, it's just fun looking down memory lane and realizing how far that you've come. Like, because I know myself personally, like back in those days, I was very unhappy. I was surrounding myself with people who are not good for me. And, you know, it took a lot of realization that I deserved better. And so the fact that now that, you know, looking back, it's just funny like how makeup can make you, take you back in time and just, that's the thing like why I love the most about makeup is that even though I went through a lot of bad shit, I remember a lot of these products, like they just take me back in time. And it's just funny how makeup does that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like music. Like music does the same thing for me. Like at the moment I hear a song, it can either take me to a really good place or a really dark time I was having in my life. And that is the same thing when it comes to makeup, because makeup has always been there for me. Like, no matter who has been in my life, who has been out of my life nowadays, these products are always there for me throughout all of it, if you guys know what I mean. So, but, you know, I love this contouring palette from Wet n Wild. Like, I feel like it's really nice quality. It does a great job at blending and sculpting everything out. And like I said, these are still available. Like, you can go and find these, like, pretty much at every drugstore. And they also have this on Amazon. So, I love these little quads from Wet n Wild. And what I like to do, once I'm done blending that one out, I like to dip into the quad caramel toffee. And I also used to take the darker shade and would start to bronze up my skin further with this one. Because especially back in those days, I used to layer and layer and layer the bronzer on. So that is exactly what I'm going to do today. Because there was nothing natural about my makeup in the day. Especially when it comes to highlighter, which that will be coming up next. But I used to layer. I just remember I used to put on so many different bronzers and we just wanted to look as tan as humanly possible. So it's definitely what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, and then when it came to actual bronzer, who remembers the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer? Now this bronzer I could not afford back in the day and definitely does smell like chocolate, but I found this actually at TJ Maxx like a year ago. So I'm like, you know what? I definitely have to incorporate it in this video because you know what? This bronzer was everywhere. Like my cousin used to use this bronzer. I just remember everybody was always raving about this bronzer. And you know what? I think it's going to show up a lot better on my skin now that I put so much contouring powder on, because I remember I tested this out not too long ago and it really wasn't showing up that well on my skin because the shade was a little bit too light. But I feel like it's going to do like it's going to help add a little bit more definition now that I have so much contour on. But you know, it's so funny like looking back at like 2016, 27 days and looking at how much not only my makeup skills have evolved, but so many, like just the way that I used to apply my makeup. Like I definitely do not apply this much bronzer anymore like I used to, because like I said, I like to, even though I still love like full coverage, like glam looks, I try to make things look a little bit more natural nowadays, because considering that my skin type, you know, I'm older, I have age. I'm like I said, I am going to be 33 this year. My skin is not what it used to be in its 20s. Like, you know, of course, obviously that's with age, but it's just funny just realizing that how much everybody's makeup, not only myself, has evolved throughout the years. So, and another thing what I used to do, I used to also go back into this Wet n Wild quad right here. And I remember I used to take this yellow shade and I used to pretty much highlight the crap underneath my under eyes, even though I did not need it. And back in the day, I didn't realize that yellow under eyes was not the cute look, but since everybody was doing it, and I obviously did not have the right complexion to have yellow under eyes because I'm way too fair for that. Considering that everybody wanted to look like Kim Kardashian, that is the main reason why I used to put yellow powder underneath my eyes. You can tell, like, you can already see, like, it's darkening my concealer, but you couldn't tell me anything back in the day. Okay, and next for highlighter. Now, who remembers the Wet n Wild highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals? This highlighter right here was everywhere. I remember running out to Walgreens because every time Wet n Wild released something back in the day, I would run out to Walgreens and just like, I had to have this highlighter. So what I'm going to do, I have 3 highlighters I'm going to be sharing, but for right now, I just want to take this one, and how I've been liking to, recently, I like to just take this one from Wet n Wild, and I like to apply it like right on like these areas, like right here, and also I'm going to apply some down the sides of my face, because back in the day, I was highlighter crazy. Like I couldn't like find old pictures of myself, and you can see like the reflection of my forehead in the pictures. But this was such a beautiful highlighter from Wet n Wild, and definitely one that like everybody was using. Like I remember everybody was using this highlighter. So along with that highlighter, who remembers also back in the day when rainbow highlighters were a thing? Now, I never really understood the hype of rainbow highlighters, even though I really love this one. This one is by Makeup Revolution, by the way. They no longer carry this one. It is discontinued, but this was an amazing, beautiful highlighter. So I'm going to apply this one also on my skin right at the moment. But before I use this one, I ordered, who remembers, Ofra highlighters. Now, Ofra highlighters I picked this one up like a week ago because, you know, back in the day, I could not afford Ofra highlighters because these do retail for $35. And this one in particular, here's what the packaging looks like right here. Like, look at this packaging. This is amazing, beautiful packaging. This one was the collaboration with Nikkie Tutorials, if you guys remember. Look at how beautiful. Like, just look at this. This is in the shade Glazed Donut, by the way. So, this came in the mail yesterday, and I remember when this highlighter came out, like, you barely have to even touch that, and just look at the reflection of that. Like, it's so beautiful. But I remember when this first came out, I was unable to afford, I could not afford it. So now I'm like, you know what? I had to finally order this highlighter and apply it in this video because this is definitely one of the main products that I wanted to test out back in the day. But like I said, I could not afford it. But I'm just going to apply this one onto the tops of my cheekbones. And look at that. Holy, like, I cannot even describe to you guys how little I just put onto my brush. And look at the reflection. Like, look at that. It is so beautiful. It melts into my skin. Like, this is probably one of the most beautiful blinding highlighters that I have honestly ever used. Like, it is so reflective and definitely worth the hype because I don't know however Ofra formulates this, but you need like the smallest amount for this payoff. Like, it is definitely worth the $35 price tag because out of every highlighter I think that I have in my collection, this one is like beating them all. Like, it's so, so beautiful. Okay, then I'm going to take some of the rainbow highlighter and I'm going to apply that over top because you know what? Back in the day, I could not go out. I remember I used to put like 3 different highlighters on my complexion. So I'm going to put the rainbow one right over top and look at that. Like, this is beautiful. Even though it is rainbow, I remember this left a really beautiful sheen behind on the skin. And as you guys can see, like, I am not messing around today because I was highlighter crazy. And my skin right now, I don't know if you guys can see, but it is looking so dry and crepey, especially underneath my eyes. Like, crap, it's looking so dry and so textured, but it's okay. I honestly cannot wait to take this off, but these highlighters are so beautiful. Some of the best quality. And like I said, I used to like apply this so heavily back in the day, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, and then next I move on to eyeshadow. So who remembers the Wet n Wild, these quads right here? These were the eyeshadow quads that I remember I used the most, and I love them, and they were so hyped up, especially this one right here in the shade Rosé in the Air. This was a dupe of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and I could not afford that palette back then, so that is the reason why I love this quad so much, because I remember I felt like I was actually using the Anastasia one, which I still, to this day, have not used any eyeshadows from Anastasia, which is pretty surprising, you know what I mean, with all the makeup I tested out. But I have this quad, and then I also have the one in the shade Not a Basic Peach, which I love these palettes so much. These are amazing quality. So for starters, I remember I'm going to take this shade right here from the Not a Basic Peach palette, and I remember I used to heavily apply this shade through my crease. So that is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pack some out to the outer corner. And these shadows were amazing quality from Wet n Wild. Like, and these brushes, by the way, are also from Wet n Wild. Like, these brushes were are truthfully the only ones that I experimented with when I first started getting into makeup because they are so affordable, and like, you can still find these at Dollar Tree. And like I said, I love Wet n Wild. They are definitely one of the brands that have taken me along on my makeup journey because, you know, they are so affordable. Not only are they affordable, but they come out with some amazing prices. And I remember these palettes were amazing quality. You can tell, like, look at how great these eyeshadows are already blending. So I remember I used to take this shade, blend it pretty heavily through my crease. Okay, then I'm going to dip into the Rosé in the Air palette. I remember I used to always dip into this shade right here along with this purple shade. So I used to like mix both of these together, and let's further smoke this out. But these eyeshadow palettes, like, they were definitely worth the hype back in the day. They are very nice quality, like pretty much zero fallout, incredible pigmentation. You can tell that they blend pretty much effortlessly. Like, I'm pretty much barely even tapping my brush into these shadows, and the fact that they are performing so well, like, that is the main reason why I used to use these all the time when it came to doing my eyeshadows. Like I said, Wet n Wild, they have since reformulated their eyeshadows, which I think they're pretty good quality, but the only thing, I prefer these way better because they are less powdery, because I know the new ones, they tend to have a lot of kick up, and these ones pretty much have none. So I definitely do prefer this formula compared to their new one, but overall, they still make incredible eyeshadow. So I remember I used to just blend this through my crease. Okay, and then I remember everybody used to take this concealer and would attempt to do a cut crease, carving out their lid with it. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I've never been great at doing cut creases. Like, honestly, like I feel like every time I used to do this back in the day, it would never work out. But hopefully now that my makeup skills have thankfully improved, like maybe today will actually be the day where it actually works out. But I'm going to take a little bit of that concealer and just start to blend this out. And so far, so good. Like, I feel like this LA Girl concealer that is one thing that this brush tip is, what is it called? It's helpful for, because you can get into the areas where you, like, it's hard, it's easy to define things is what I'm trying to say. So just going to blend this out. Then to set the concealer, who remembers the Wet n Wild eyeshadow single in the shade Brulee? This is actually Creme Brulee, but now they call it Brulee. So I love this shade, by the way. So I'm going to take this and just set down that concealer. And this little quad from Wet n Wild, it does a great job at not only setting your eyeshadow base, but it does an amazing job at blending out the outer edges, because that is pretty much the way that I tend to use this in my everyday makeup routine. And also I found a good trick with this little eyeshadow quad, that if you take a little bit of this and apply this onto your eyelids right after you set your concealer and then go in with your eyeshadows, I feel like it just helps your eyeshadows blend that much better. And that is a tip that I learned from one of my fellow YouTubers who I watch all the time, but it is such a great trick. And sometimes what I also like to do, because sometimes brushes, they don't work out for me, I like to just take some of this on my finger and just set it this way, because I feel like by your fingertips, you can actually get into the creases of your eyes a lot better. But I definitely do love this quad from Wet n Wild. This little single I meant to say from Wet n Wild is great quality and definitely been a staple in my makeup collection for so many years. And I knew something was missing. I forgot to put my contacts in. So what I did, I took this shade right here. I remember I used to take this shimmer shade from the Not a Basic Peach palette, applied that all over my eyelids, and then I took these two shimmers right here from the rainbow, the rainbow highlighter. I took these two and applied to my inner corner, because I always had that super intense inner corner. So then next for my lashes, I have these big giant ones that I picked up from my best friend Jeff, who passed away. He actually bought these for me, but I remember I would always apply huge lashes like this, like no matter what the occasion was. Whenever I did my makeup like this, like pretty much on an everyday basis, I always had the biggest lashes. So these are like the biggest ones I have in my collection. So going to quickly apply these lashes, and then I will be back. Okay, and I can't believe I used to go out with lashes this big on an everyday basis. Like, I can actually feel them on my eyes, but I finished my eyes and I had to add some rhinestones, because I would not go anywhere without rhinestones back in the day. So still, not much has changed. But next for my lips. So for Throwback lip products that I used to use religiously, for lip liners, number one, who remembers when the Wet n Wild gel lip liners were first released along with the liquid lipsticks? Now, along with the liquid lipstick right here, like this combination, I wore this pretty much every single day back in like 2016, early 2017. These lip liners are amazing. The liquid lipstick is amazing as well. I'm not going to use these today, but I wanted to mention them because these are definitely a throwback and ones that I use religiously. But for the lip liner that I am going to use today is also going to be by the brand. This is from Milani. This is their Color Statement lip liner in the shade number 9 Spice. Now, this is what this pencil looks like right here. This shade, this is the one that I use like all the time because it's just such a beautiful color, and I love these lip liners. Milani has some of the best lip products on the market, and I remember, along with the Wet n Wild ones, this is another one that I use all the time, and I love it so much. But for liquid lipstick, now this product right here, come on, I don't even have to say anything. The other day, I picked up a Kylie Jenner liquid lipstick. So I thought I bought the kit, but I didn't. I actually just wound up buying liquid lipstick, but here is what the packaging looks like right here. Now, obviously, 2016 was all about Kylie Jenner, all about her not having lip injections. A lot of people said she didn't have lip injections, which she did the entire time. She made people believe that by buying these products, you're going to have lips like her, which obviously is false because she has lip injections. But anyway, I could not afford Kylie lip kits or any of the products back in the day. So you know what? I looked online the other day. she was having a sale. I thought I bought the kit, but I mistakenly just bought the liquid lipstick. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay because I wanted to use it for today's video to test it out, considering that this product was so popular and this is such a throwback, especially into the days where I was fully into makeup. So I'm going to apply this lip combo. And by the way, I picked up the shade from the Kylie lip kit. I mean, the Kylie matte liquid lipstick. This is the shade 621, Not in the Mood. And this is I'll do like a little bit of a swatch really quick, but this looks like my perfect, like, your lips but better type of a tone right here. You can tell it's going to pair really nicely with the lip liner. So I'm going to quickly apply this lip combination and then I'll be back. Okay, and then to set my face, who remembers the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray? Now, I remember the Urban Decay Setting Spray used to be really popular back in the day, but of course, once again, I could not afford it. So this one, I remember I use this one all the time. So I'm going to quickly set my skin with this, and we will be complete with this video. And, I'm loving that lip combination, by the way. But, when it comes to my skin, I'm telling you, my skin feels so dry from that foundation. And that much powder. I'm not used to having this much powder on my skin anymore, but that's that. Okay, so here's how everything turned out up close. That foundation, even though it feels heavy on my skin, it still did an amazing job of pretty much covering everything. That stuff really does have full coverage, and I don't think it could cover tattoos, but it definitely does an incredible job at evening out the skin, even though, like I said, it does feel heavy, but I'm not used to wearing this much makeup on my skin and this many powders on my skin anymore. So you can definitely feel this makeup. And like I said, nowadays I'm more towards, even though I still love full coverage, I still, on an everyday basis, I try to make things look a little bit more natural to let my skin breathe. But it was definitely fun sitting down and going through all of these products that I honestly forgot about. And it's just so crazy looking back at how much time I took on doing my makeup, because this makeup took me 2 hours today, and now I can get by with doing my makeup within an hour, without problems. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. It was so much fun sitting down, going through so many products that I honestly forgot about. I know makeup has come such a long way, and so many new brands and products have come out, but it was definitely fun sitting down and just going through some of my old favorites. So I want to know what some of your guys' favorites were from back in the day, because I know I have so many that I couldn't include in this video, but a lot of these I still do love and use to this day. But I want to know, what are some of your favorites? Please leave them in the comments below, because, it's just so much fun playing with makeup and experimenting. And, looking back at this makeup right now, it reminds me of my old self. And, it's crazy because looking back, I was going through such a rough time in my life when I used to apply my makeup like this. So looking at myself over 5 years later, 6, 7 years later, I'm very proud of how far I have come, how much I have accomplished, how better I'm doing physically, mentally, spiritually. Ever since I cut out these horrible people in my life, I've been on such a much better path, and I've actually started focusing on myself and my well-being. And that's just one thing I can tell you guys to take away from this video, is to really start to put the main focus on yourself, because no matter who is in your life, whoever's trying to bring you down, remember that those people do not matter. Because at the moment, ever since I started focusing on my well-being, I've been in such an amazing place. And I never thought that I would be saying that. Looking back at my old videos, I was in such a horrible place, and looking back, it honestly made my anxiety. I happened to look through my old videos a couple days ago, and the moment I pressed play, I can tell how depressed and how down I was, and how I was just so, every single day, I honestly didn't want to live. So the fact that I'm here all these years later, looking back at those videos, at the person I am today, I just want to tell you guys to never give up hope. Continue on your dreams. I'm telling you, as long as you start to believe in yourself, anything is possible. And I am living proof of that, because I honestly I still cannot believe that I'm back recording after being gone for so long. But once again, that is thanks to all of you for all your love, support. All your comments do not go unnoticed. I always make it my priority to respond to every single person who sends support and love my way, because without all of you, I honestly wouldn't be here. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back with some more videos very, very soon. I love you.